We're trying to reduce crime. We're trying to develop and help our youth move in the right direction. In order to do that, we have to build trust because, again, and I've said this over and over again, as the police, we cannot do this alone. We can't arrest our way out of these situations, and we're not going to try to do that. What we have to do is get everybody involved. We have to make everybody a stakeholder. Our community members have to be engaged. They have to be involved. So what I don't want my officers to believe is that nothing is going to change with the community. I don't want my officers to believe that the community won't eventually embrace them, not only as officers, but as human beings. So we have to open our minds. We can't draw that line in the sand, and we've got to be open to have these conversations with each other. And some of those conversations are going to be tough, right? We've got to be willing to hear and listen to the truth, and we've got to listen to each other. I want to make sure that every opportunity that I have to rebuild this relationship, to reduce crime, to bring some wellness back to our officers, to get our officers on track, help our community members feel safe, and make them feel good about working in partnership and creating a more safe environment for this city. I take that more serious than anybody will ever know. But what I do appreciate about the mayor is that the mayor has listened to my requests. He's listened to the things that I've expressed about our department moving forward, the things that we want to do, because I think that we're aligned on one particular thing. We want to reduce crime, and we want to rebuild this relationship between the police and the community. I also understand, just as he understands, that as the police, we can't do this alone. We have put a lot of weight on the shoulders of police officers in the police department. So here's what I will tell you about the migrant situation. This is a very, very, very tough situation for the officers for this reason. And I don't want anyone to believe that I'm downplaying the migrant situation. It's actually part of why this is a struggle for officers. The migrants find themselves in this situation where they're sleeping on a police station floor or in tents on sidewalks. That's not the fault of the migrants. And it's really hard to see a nursing mother sleeping on the floor or a pregnant woman sleeping on the floor. But right now, until we come up with a resolution for this, our officers are going to continue to treat each migrant the way that they have been, like human beings, and treat them with the dignity and in the best possible way that they can, because the officers have done this from the very beginning. So here, let me just say a couple of things about the consent decree. The consent decree is extremely, extremely important, and we are going to be moving to work toward full compliance. However, what people don't realize about the full compliance in the consent decree are the three levels, the three parts of it. So you've got that preliminary, which would be policy. Then there's the second level, which would be training. And then now we're measuring it, which now we go into full compliance. Creating the policy can take months, close to a year. Once that's done, now we have to get everyone trained, which could also take a year. So there are a lot of policies that are being completed and have been completed, which where you'll see preliminarily we're at a much higher level of compliance, and the same thing with training. But until we get both of those two levels, then we get to full compliance. We'll start to see more of that as we go along. But we do know that there are things that have been added to the consent decree which reduces that overall compliance level. we need to have the right people in the right places, making the proper assessments about how we're going to deal with crime. We are down close to 1,500 officers, but we have to make the best of what we have right now. We have to have a more robust strategy when it comes to recruitment, retention, and once we address those things, I think that we can become an even better department.